I want to weigh in on this Renaldo Gouws story. Renaldo has been trending in South Africa for several days now, and we don't yet know how this story is going to end. Renaldo Gouws, of course, is a well-known YouTuber in South Africa. He's been around for quite some time. In fact, as far as I know, he was the first YouTuber in the country to talk about political content. He was recently sworn into Parliament as a member of the Democratic Alliance, and disciplinary action has been taken against him now as a result of a video that is now circulating on social media that was actually published originally back in 2010. That's 14 years ago. So in this video that was published in 2010, Renaldo expressed his concern about the rise of racism, hate speech, and double standards in the condemnation thereof in South Africa. This was, of course, in reaction to Julius Malema's chanting of Dubela Ibunu, which, if you translate, this means shoot the Boer. But there were other chants as well, or still are other chants, including kill the Boer, kill the farmer, which is an English chant, and many others. There was also around the time an incident where Jacob Zuma, who was then president of South Africa, chanted a similar song with slightly different lyrics at an ANC political rally. And so Renaldo was concerned about this and the fact that it's not properly condemned by the establishment. So he made a video in which he decided to start this video with similar claims, similar racist claims towards black people. I'm not going to show that video because I might run the risk of having this video taken down. But in his introduction to this video, he flipped the script, so to speak. And he started talking about killing black people and made some very grotesque racist statements about black people and about killing them. After doing this for a few seconds, he then responded to his own comments and said that this is not his opinion, but he asked the viewer how they felt listening to him saying this. He then explained that this is what is happening in South Africa, but it's the other way around, and that we should be consistent in our condemnation of racism. And so I remember watching this video back in 2010, feeling that his approach was perhaps too risky, but I understood the point that he was trying to convey, that we should condemn racism consistently, and that there is reason for alarm if we are more concerned about racism towards one racial group than towards another. And so 3 years later, in 2013, Gouws went through his previously published YouTube videos and decided to delete a bunch of them. Without any pressure being put on him in this regard, he posted an apology on social media saying that he went through his previous comments on social media and he now feels that, even though he was expressing a particular emotion, that a lot of what he said in the past was inappropriate. And without having been pressured to do so, he apologized. And he made this apology. He said, "My first ever political video was uploaded to YouTube in 2007. For the last week, I've scanned through all of the videos I've made, and I have to admit that I have definitely grown as a person. Call it getting older and wiser, or call it educating myself, but boy, in some of those videos, I said some stupid shit. In others, I said some things that make me very proud as an older version of myself. Looking back now, I can understand how some people got angry with me. I can understand how I might have been perceived as aggressive or even racist. Obviously, my intentions and outlook was never racist, but the way I delivered my opinions and facts might have been easily construed that way. I will never apologize for feeling the way I did back then, as there were various factors that brought out that rage in me. I will apologize, though, for not educating myself enough on certain topics before giving my opinion on them. It's only now at the age of 30 that I get it. It took me some time to look at the other side of the coin and put myself in someone else's shoes and completely understand the effects the history of our country has had on all of us. Thanks to those of you who got me and understood that I always only wanted the best for South Africa and all its people. To those of you who didn't get me and painted me as a racist or an idiot, I apologize. Not because I am a racist or an idiot, but because I failed you in my attempt to convey a message. In my defense, I would like to state that I might not have always said things the way I meant it. And that was purely because of me being Afrikaans and sometimes struggling with putting it in English. I understand now how me saying we or you could mean I place all of us under the same umbrella. To the people out there that claim that I have changed or that I have toned it down for political aspirations, I might have the following to say. I have always been the same person at my core, and I have always wanted a South Africa where race and creed would not define us, where we all are considered equals and could live a life of peace and tranquility. With age, I have become more mature in my approach and improved myself by challenging everything I believed in and admitting my mistakes and gross lack of knowledge on certain topics. Would I change anything I have done in the past? Of course not. Every single one of the things I have done wrong and right have shaped me into a better person. I am by no means saying that I am perfect or will never make mistakes again, but I can proudly say that I am better than I was yesterday, and the same will be said tomorrow about me today. Regards. Reindeer, that was how he was known back then. That not so angry anymore guy on YouTube. And so even though the central message that Renaldo was trying to convey was that we should condemn all forms of racism consistently, and even though he has apologized himself out of his own accord, not having been pressured to do so, for making this video and for framing his argument in a particular way that he, with hindsight, regarded as inappropriate, there is now a campaign against him to have him expelled from Parliament. And so this video started circulating, and IOL in particular only published that few seconds in the video in which he quoted these racist comments, leaving out all the context in which he says that this is not his position or his argument, and that the entire point of the video was to condemn racism. Some other news reports have added that bit, but IOL in particular have not done so. This is now being circulated on social media, and there is widespread outrage and demands for him to resign. In his own party, the DA, he has, as far as my understanding goes, been expelled temporarily, and there is now an investigation into his conduct. Now, obviously, this is a PR problem for the DA, and they would have to respond in some way. They cannot just ignore this. But it is very interesting to point out that Helen Zille, the federal chairperson of the DA, has made some comments condemning this type of cancel culture in the past, saying recently on the Big Daddy Liberty show that there is a new culture of outrage archaeology. And what she means by that is that in this modern world where we live today, or this woke world, people like digging up old content about people and trying to frame it in a way that is stripped of all context, in a way to cancel them or destroy their reputations and careers. Now, it seems quite obvious that this is what is happening to Renaldo at the moment, and so the irony is that the DA is now investigating him. But we'll see how this matter ends and what the outcome thereof will be. But what is even more striking is that in this week, Andile Ngitama is being sworn in as a member of parliament for the MK party, or Mkhonto weSizwe. This is the guy who used to be the leader, or perhaps still is the leader, of an organization called Black First, Land First, who is arguably the biggest racist in South Africa. So during his speech back in 2019, Ngitama openly encouraged violence and even murder of innocent white people. He had this strange line that every time a black person murders another black person in taxi violence, that is actually a murder committed by a white person. And so how he got to this was he was referencing a comment made by Johan Rupert, who said that he knows people. He was joking during an interview saying that he knows people in the taxi industry, and jokingly remarked to a journalist that he will call on his friends in the taxi industry to go after him, or something to that effect. And so Ngitama interprets this as that every time a black person murders another black person in taxi violence, that was actually a black person murdered by a white person. And so he goes on to say that for every time white people kill one black person, we will go out and kill 5 white people. And so he chants that we will kill 5 white people for each black person. He says we'll kill their women, we'll kill their dogs, we'll kill their cats, we'll kill their children, and so forth. And he gets his crowd to chant with him that they will kill white people. Now, this same guy is being sworn into parliament, but there's not nearly the outrage against him that there is against Renaldo. And so the irony in this whole story is that even though Renaldo is now being targeted, he is being proven right, because the point that he made right at the beginning was that there is not a consistent condemnation of racism.